Alright, in this tutorial I am on font and I'm going to search a font. I want it to be handwritten, so I'm going to go to handwritten. But sometimes if you're not sure, recently added fonts kind of has a bit of everything. So maybe that's more the one you're looking for. Or you can go back to themes and choose your theme. I'm going to go with handwritten. Okay. You can kind of guess what your font will look like, or you could say Happy Holidays. And then actually hit enter, and this is why I love font, because you see it. And now I did something really smart. I wanted to know if they had punctuations. Not all these fonts on here have periods, apostrophes, commas. So I sometimes always add that in my preview because I know these fonts have it, whereas this font does not. So if I was going to use a punctuation, I'd have to change the font for that if I really like that font. And so here are all my previewed fonts. You want to make sure it's legible, it's festive, it fits the theme. So something like this, probably not so good for a happy holidays, whereas something like this seems too Harry Potter-ish inspired, so it doesn't really think of maybe more birthday than it would a holiday card. So, go through it and figure out which font you really like. And then we're going to download your font. The cool thing about this, again, is if you are like, okay, you know what, I'd like to change my theme, you just hit the new theme you think you want, and it keeps the word Happy Holidays. New fonts, you can preview new fonts, and it keeps your word. So I like that for the retaining thing. So Happy Holidays. I feel like I'm going to get overly picky here, so I'm going to go back to the first page. I like handwritten fonts, so I'm just going to go with a handwritten font. Now, Happy Holidays. I like this one. Download. Okay. When you download it, goes up here. You have to double click the envelope. You then have sometimes a lot of files. Really, all you want is the OTF or the TTF. Sometimes this one has both. Sometimes they only have one. It stands for Open True Font or True Type Font, I believe. So when you open it, double click. It previews if there's a regular bold italic. This one only has regular font. I then hit install. I go through the whole process. I see it's now here under beauty. So when I go in here and I'm going to make my line for my text box cancel for my font, so it's going to be my greeting message. Grab my T. Now, some people like to just write Happy Holidays and have it in one text box. Personally, I don't like to do that, and I want to show you why. So here, see, I centered it. I'm going to make it rather large. And now I want to make them on different lines. When I hit enter, I'm stuck with this default space. And now I could go into my character and I could try and space all this stuff apart. Again, sorry, if you don't see your fonts, it's always under character. So your font name, font type, font size are always under the word character. I find that limiting. So I always put key messages in two different text boxes. So I have one text box for my happy, and then I'm going to make a separate text box for my holidays. And the reason for this is because now I can actually kind of be more customized with it where I want it to place, whereas before I was kind of stuck into the default fitting, which I don't like. So it's up to you how you'd like to be able to move them around, but if you want to be able to kind of like customize, slowly move them, you need separate text boxes. Okay, now cool things with fonts. If you want to do an arc, some people like to do arcs, you can select your text box, and up here there's this little make envelope thing, and always preview because sometimes less is more, and you just want a little emphasis and not something as drastic. So select your text box, and then it'll be right up there in the top properties panel. Something else that you might find really fun to do with fonts is you're able to add inside and outside colors. So I'm going to show that in a second. But before I do that, actually I'll do that first. So you highlight your fonts. You have your fill color, but you also have a stroke color. So this represents the outline. As you can see, that's a very thick outline. But if I actually type in a number, I can add like 0.1. But I have to write it. I can't default it. The smallest is 0.25. But if you can actually write in a small number, you can start seeing that you can get these little kind of add-ons to your words. So maybe that's too small, and I'll go 0.3, and it adds a little like flair to my words. That space there. Okay. So that's one option available to you. Now, what you do need to do, though, and it's very important, when you're done and you're happy, if you downloaded a font, it is only on your computer. So if I open your file on my computer, I'm not going to see your cool font. So when you're done and it's downloaded font, you select your text box with a black cursor, you control click, and you create an outline. Very important, because now this is a shape, this is text. The shape means that it is permanently looking like this. I can't edit it. I can't make spelling mistakes, change, or anything at this time, which is why I say only do this once you're done. But now when anyone goes to view my card, I've put these in envelopes so that they're actually able to preview my shape and my card and my font. So I hope that's helpful. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to actually have separate text boxes when you're stylizing, especially major messages like happy birthday. Interior messages not so much because they're usually aligned, but big messages like this, you're definitely going to want to have separated. So I hope that helps.